Good morning, 8th graders. I hope everyone is having a good Wednesday morning. Sun's shining, no rain, so that's a good thing. So, yesterday we finished up with our genetics or superior genetics type activity. So get that to me sometime so I can get that in the grade. I haven't checked grades yet today, so I'm assuming a lot of them are in Canvas. Those of you that put them there. But so today we are going to move on so we can cover a couple more articles, activities in this, and then we'll be done with this magazine. We won't be doing all of these just because some of them they're a lot easier if we do up here. So so don't stress out saying that, oh, we didn't get to the whole magazine. That's okay. I never do anyways. Some of the articles, or I might throw in an activity sometimes, so that takes a place. So we're going to do a couple more out of here, and then we'll be done with this magazine. So today we're going to go ahead and go through more than just a pumpkin patch. It's just this page and this page. So why don't you go ahead and hit pause on your phone or iPad or computer, quickly read through this, and then we're going to go through the questions in class, so you don't have to send me the questions. All right, so go ahead and hit pause, why don't you? You should be pausing. Okay, you've read the article. It talks about this pumpkin. I don't know how many of you have ever been to the Papa's Pumpkin Patch. I believe it's over by Bismarck area. I've never been there, so I'm hoping maybe this year that I can get over there. I mean, if they allow us, who knows? You never know how long this is going to carry out, but again. So, Papa's Pumpkin Patch. If you look on there, if you look on the questions here, I got this sheet out in front of me. So we'll go through this now. It's also up here. I've zoomed in on it. So it talks a little bit about, how the pumpkin patch got started. The first question there, what channel has Papa's Pumpkin Patch been featured on? Well, a lot of you probably don't watch that channel, but it's the Travel Channel. I would recommend it. Sometimes it's kind of cool. You can find a place that you might want to visit. It talks about the Travel Channel. I mean, the Travel Channel talks about that place. It's sometimes kind of fun to watch. But anyways, so Papa's Pumpkin Patch is one of the top 15 pumpkin patches in the United States. And if you think about it, when you're reading the article, if about 50,000 people visit that every year during the season. So that's pretty incredible that a pumpkin patch can get that many people to come visit. And so so the next question on there explains, how did the pumpkin patch get started? So the article states that he was approached to plant some pumpkins for a parade in October. It's when a lot of pumpkins had come ready. But the parade got moved up to September, and a lot of times pumpkins aren't ready to go in September. It depends on when you plant them. A lot of people plant them after the last, so they know that there's going to be no more frost. So he had all these pumpkins, and he didn't know what to do with the pumpkins. Imagine having that many pumpkins and not quite sure what to do with them. So he opened it up to the community where people can come and pick the pumpkins. He had games for them, kind of like if you go to a pumpkin patch now. A lot of pumpkin patches. The main thing is you get to buy your pumpkins for the year. Sometimes there is mazes. They might make a corn maze, or other type of activities, or fun fall activities for people to go. Sometimes there's hay rides around. If there's a farm, there's hay rides so that people can get an idea of how farms work. So that's kind of how the pumpkin patch works. And so what we're going to mainly be talking about is agritourism. And now, if you don't quite know what that word is, why don't you take a quick second to look it up, and then we'll talk about it. So agritourism is, people go and visit a place to learn a little bit about agriculture, but also to have some fun. So it's like maybe it's a day vacation where they're going to go somewhere. Around here, we might find that kind of silly that, if we drive right outside the city limits, there's agriculture. We know about it because we live in an agriculture state. But there are people who actually pay to go visit a farm because they want to learn where their food is coming from. Plus, at the same time, they might have a little bit of fun. So that's agritourism. For example, excuse me. For example, when I was living in Rolla, a lady wanted to start. They were actually probably they might have actually started it. I'm not sure. She had a group of farmers lined up where someone who isn't familiar with mainly crop farming, they were going to start out with crop farming. What they were going to do is you pay so much, you got to come up in the springtime and help with planting. How does the farmer put the seed in the ground? So they got to come up, experience that. They got to ride in the tractor. They maybe even got to help drive the tractor. And then what happens is, and then in the summertime, they get to come up and a lot of farmers spray their crops in the summertime. So they got to come up and help spray their crops. Then in the fall, they got to come back up and help harvest the crop. But there were also other things tied into that. For example, they got to, Rolla has a very nice golf course. They had kids lined up to take them out for 9 holes of golf course. They got to go up and tour the Peace Gardens. If you've ever never been to the Peace Gardens, go up to the Peace Gardens sometime. It's a fun place. So they got all of that for just paying a fee, and I don't think they established the fee yet. So they got to help with seeding, spraying, and harvesting. Plus they got some other stuff. For example, they got a round of golf. They got to go to the Peace Gardens. So that's agritourism, using agriculture, and a lot of farmers are doing that to add a little bit of extra income into their farm. So your task for Thursday is this sheet. Do not send me these. You don't even need to watch this, because this is just explaining what agritourism is, and I kind of just did it for you, so you can skip that. I mean, if you want to watch it, go right ahead, but you don't have to. So you're going to send me this sheet. Okay, you're going to create your own agritourism, and I've created one for an example so that you kind of understand what you're going to do. You can just write it out here and send a photo of this, or you can type it in an email. Go right ahead. I'm okay with that too. Or if you can type in Canvas, go ahead and type it in Canvas just so that I get this. So, all right. So this is what mine would be. I'm going to see if I can bring you guys in here. Okay, I'm going to stand on this side. All right, so mine, agritourism, I'm going to call mine, yes, you have to have a name. My place is called Sweet William Streets. The word Sweet William came from when I was living in Rolla. I helped take care of an older lady who was going through cancer. So I would go over, help her clean her house, do chores for her, run errands for her, take her to her treatments. So she always she just calls me Sweet William. So Sweet William Streets is gonna be my thing. So what does my place have? I have fruit trees such as apples, pears, apricots, any type of fruit that grows on a tree that can be grown in North Dakota. I'm gonna have it. Okay? I'm also gonna have other fruits like raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, grapes, whatever else can be grown in North Dakota. I'm gonna have it. It's gonna be this huge fruit farm, basically. That's what it is. It's a fruit farm. Okay, so what happens is visitors come, they can have tours For example, I'm gonna have games, but I'm gonna hire highly energized students who want to work there to maybe get some work experience, get some communication experience because they're going to be working with visitors. Also working with kids who want to learn how to, be a farmer. I mean, granted, it's a different type of farm than growing crops, but it's still farming. So I'm going to hire those kids on a work release through the school. That is something you can do. So they can get paid plus go to school and get a grade for it. So I'm going to hire those. I'll probably have some adults too that they'll have to work with because I can't do everything. All right, so this is what people are going to do. Is everything in there? Oh, everything's kind of in the video. Yep. So they're just going to pay an entrance fee. When they come in, they pay their entrance fee. For example, I might make it $50. You're probably thinking that is high, but just listen. So they're going to pay $50. One thing that they can do there is, I have this really, really simple jam recipe that I use. It takes about 1 pound of fruit. It takes 3 cups of sugar. It takes 1 lemon, and it takes a little bit of pectin. Pectin is used to help make jam more of a solid state. They can make, and it just makes like a pint. It makes about 2 pints of jar. So they're gonna get 2 nice pints of jar. They're gonna make their own jam, and it only takes 45 minutes to make. It's probably even less, depends on how fast the fruit cooks down into more of a liquid state. So it's very simple to do. So they get to make all that. They get to pick whatever fruit they want from the trees, because they get to go out and pick it. And there'll be someone there to help them so they know to pick the ripe, or when the fruit is at the right stage for, making jams. All right. Also, what they can do is, I don't have that on here, is that, if they want a bushel basket of apples, they can pick a bushel basket of apples to take home with them. So, yes, they're paying $50, and some of you are probably thinking, well, that's a lot of money there will be family rates and kids rates, but this is just, I'm just throwing this out there as a general. And then they get to make a jam. And plus they get to pick the fruits they want to take home. Okay? Granted, they can't just take unlimited amount of fruits. They can't take they can't take 10 bushel baskets of apples home, because then I'm losing money as a farmer. There will be limits to what they can take. But that's the gist of agritourism. They're going to learn about agriculture. They're going to be able to, take something away. So if you look at this sheet here, explain your agritourism idea. So that's what I just did. What will it feature? My feature is you get to make your own jam. Okay, they're going to learn how to do that. Plus, they're going to learn how to take care of that fruit. Okay, how are you going to educate people? I'm educating people with highly energized students who want to work there. Okay, what's the hands-on component? I guess we kind of went through that, making jelly. And what will visitors leave with? Well, my visitors gets to leave with a jar of jam that they've made and some fruit if they so choose. It doesn't, and the next thing there I have wrote, it doesn't have to be tangible. Tangible means touch. For example, this paper is tangible because I can touch it. It can be, maybe they leave with non-tangible thing. Like, for example, if I was to eliminate this part, they get to learn how to raise different types of fruit trees and fruits. That's non-tangible because they're learning something. So they don't have to leave with something in their hands. But I'm going to forewarn you, people want to leave with stuff in their hands. So, maybe. So does it have to be a pumpkin patch and a fruit farm? No. Maybe you're on a farm and you want, like I used in the example, those people got to actually come up and farm. Maybe we're on a dairy farm and people get to come milk cows. Maybe you own a game preserve. What I mean by a game preserve, for example, you have a lot of wildlife in your background, people can come for the day and you're going to teach them about the different wildlife that live in your area. So you can be very creative in this. Granted, we live in southeast North Dakota here. You don't get a lot of wildlife, but you can pretend that in your backyard you have bears and coyotes and wolves and elk and moose and pheasant and quail and loons and minks, and maybe you have all of that in your, because you have this great big backyard woods area, and you have trails in there and people can walk through there. They pay so much. You have people that guide them, because if you're walking through the woods and there's bears, I'll be a little scared. So maybe guides that help. So that's the idea. You don't have to stick to the traditional agriculture things that you're thinking about. Be creative. So your assignment is just to write it out on here. Kind of be detailed so I understand what you're talking about. I'm excited to see what some of you are getting very creative in your ideas. So I'm pretty excited about what's going to do. Again, you can just type it in an email and send it to me. You can write it on here, snap a photo of this, send it that way. However you want to send your work, I don't mind. I always seem to find it if you send it to me. So I hope everyone has a good Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.